news on page 65.
One of the most exciting theater companies in America.
Every aspect of our performance, which includes the puppets, the sets, the lights, the music, the scripts, everything that goes into what you see on stage is created here at the Center for Puppetry Arts. We either design it all ourselves or we work with outside designers to do what you see on the stage.
It's remarkable how many artists are at work here every day. And not only on kids' shows, we also sponsor the only performance series in America devoted to puppetry for adults.
It all boils down to one universal truth, that people need puppets as much as puppets need people. Stop it. Stop. I'm trying to make a point here. It tickles. Oh, stop. I'm trying to be serious.
So tell us more about the center. I understand that this is actually the largest in the United States dedicated solely to the puppetry arts.
Well, the center it opened in 1978, and our executive director and founder, Vincent Anthony, he traveled with a marionette troupe called Vagabond Marionettes, and he decided that he wanted to find a home where he could create a center for puppetry arts to educate and enlighten the community about the art form of puppetry. So he found that home in Atlanta, and they got this building, which used to be Spring Street Elementary School, and turned it into this amazing Center for Puppetry Arts with performances and museum and education.
Okay. There are so many performances that you guys are doing here year-round. Can you give us a rundown and a few things that are ongoing?
Oh, absolutely. We have 3 performance series, actually. One is a summer fest where we bring in troops from around the United States and around the world. Then we have a family series which runs all year that's 4 and up is what we say. What makes us really unique is because we're a nonprofit organization, we are able to offer free tickets to a lot of schools and organizations that ordinarily wouldn't be able to afford to come to the center. A lot of times we'll get classrooms in here and a majority of the children have never seen live theater of any sort, and it's completely different from watching TV, and it's often an amazing experience for them. So it's really a great thing to be a part of. And then we have a New Direction series which is targeted to adults. Because puppetry around the world and everywhere else but the United States, it's an adult art form, and it's used to cover topics that are probably too old for most kids, but in the United States it's mostly a art form targeted to children. So we really wanted to cover all of the aspects of what puppetry can be. So.
When the center actually opened, Jim Henson and Kermit the Frog were here to actually do the ribbon cutting ceremony. How exciting was that?
It was extremely exciting. He really helped the center get started. And so Vince asked him if he would come and cut the ribbon, and he said that Kermit would definitely come and Kermit might bring him along. And it was just an amazing occasion.
Are there any other big names that we might recognize that came through the center?
Well, interestingly enough, Jim Henson came back in 1988 to celebrate our 10th anniversary, and he brought with him Steve Whitmire, who puppeteers Kermit now, and Kevin Clash, who has always puppeteered Elmo. So we've had those names. Additionally, we've had several other famous puppeteers that have started at the center. Tom Fountain was the puppeteer for Salem Saberhagen on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and also the lead puppeteer for Team America World Police. I know a lot of people were fans of that movie. It was kind of the first time that puppetry for adults was really brought into mainstream cinema, so that was really neat. And he's from Atlanta. Okay. And a lot of the shows on Nickelodeon, like Bear in the Big Blue House and shows like that that use puppets, those puppeteers got started at the center as well.
You mentioned there are actually 5 different types of puppets, and you've got a few examples behind us. Can you give us more details specifically on each one?
Absolutely. This right here is an ancient rod puppet. As you can see, this has the rods on the hands for manipulation. And if you were looking at a hand and rod puppet, the difference would be that you would be able to put your hand inside here and operate the mouth with it, and then use your other hand to operate the rods. And this is just a hand puppet, because you're only using your hand to operate it. You can see over here, those are some examples of shadow puppets. Those are pressed up against a shadow screen that has a light behind it, so that this silhouette is really the star of the show. In addition, there are huge body puppets, like this puppet right here, where someone would be inside the costume and operate the arms and the, turn the head and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And finally, we have a marionette. This is the kind of puppet that most people know. It's operated with these things up here that have strings attached to them, and you move the strings to make the puppet walk. Now, the arms also have strings attached to them, and a skilled puppeteer, which I am not, would be able to really make the puppet move around and dance and come alive. That's one of the hardest forms of puppetry.
And for those of you that want to catch a sneak peek at the Center for Puppetry Arts, find your way down here soon and go to their website for more information.
First of all, let me compliment yous on what a wonderful audience yous was. Give yourselves a hand. Nice work. Now, for your educational purposes, I am what you would call a hand and rod puppet. Because this here puppeteer, puts her arm inside of my body. Her hand fits into my head, so that when she moves her hand like that, it makes my mouth move. That is so weird. That's like looking in a mirror. Stop, you're freaking me out, stop! Now, these here is called rods. Okay, for years I thought these were ski poles. And I should have wondered because we never went skiing. True story. Now, with these here rods, she is able to control my arm movements. Up, down, this way, that way. Up, down, this way, that way. You could do it with me. Up, down, this way, that way. Up, down, this way, that